A very good evening to you all once again. Yes, I welcome you for today's space. Yeah, um, these are spaces that have been happening that have been organized by the Freedom Movement Uganda. They are more of educative. Yes, previously we have had there have been previous topics, but today's topic will be analyzing the difference between protests and non-cooperation acts of direct action. Yes, in our setting, in the Ugandan setting, we have been having a challenge whereby people uh, cannot ably differentiate these things, but gladly we have line there is a lineup of good activists and people who have been able to get to know the difference, who have been lucky enough to get to know the difference and to know where what works when and where. Yes, for just a brief protests, we have seen them. Protests are just action to express discontent or objection to something. Yes, while non-cooperation, as you hear it, this is mainly the refusal to appeal, the refusal to cooperate. So, uh, so many people differentiate, since also protests sometimes can be an act for people to refuse to cooperate. So people tend to misunderstand the two things. Yes. So I would like to welcome I would like to welcome the speakers of today, Comrade Nana, Comrade Awadi, and Comrade Tamali. Yes, those are our speakers for today, but other members also will be given a chance to talk about the different wa- the two kinds of civil disobedience that we are trying to analyze today and to bring to the Ugandans. Yes, this space is recorded for even those Ugandans who may not be able to attend today to be able to find it. It will always be on our platform, and and any is free to access it and check the content that was discussed therein. Yes, at this juncture, I would like to invite. I see, I've seen Comrade Nana has been on. I would like to invite Comrade Nana to maybe introduce herself as the other speakers also get ready. They introduce themselves, and then we can kick off with the discussion. Thank you so much. Comrade Nana, if you're ready, you can please unmute your mic and say something to the listeners. Yes, I think Comrade Nana is still getting ready. Yes, just a brief. Yes, in Uganda we have had protests. Some of the acts of non-cooperation maybe we have had. Maybe of recent, there are a group of Ugandans organized stay-at-home protests and so on. Those are some of the acts of non-cooperation that their boycotts have not yet been so evident in Uganda, but those are some acts of non-cooperation that people can look at and differentiate them from protests. Yes, I see. Comrade Tamali, you're welcome. If you are ready, you can please take the floor. Thank you so much.
Yes, good evening, comrades. I believe you're all well. Those are my names, Tamali Auma. I am an activist and a human rights defender based in northern Uganda. Thank you very much. I don't know whether I was invited to introduce myself or I was invited to speak, but I would ask the host or co-host to come again and usher me in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Comrade Tamali. Yeah, you have always been available for these spaces. Yes, earlier I was inviting you to introduce yourself, but it seems the other speakers are not yet uh, ready. I don't know if Comrade Nana is ready to. If she's not ready, then I would go further to invite you, Comrade Tamali, to start on the analyzing of the topic of the day. Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. And thank you once again, everyone, for sparing your time. It's not easy to first of all volunteer for something that all of you are not going to get allowance for. Most people go for these online things because they want to get data refund. But I'm glad that people who attend this space are people who are in the struggle and understand that we should always sacrifice. So I want to commend you for that, and I wish you more strength to carry on with whatever endeavors you're making. So today, I am happy that we are beginning a series of something slightly different from what we've been focusing on, I think, for the last 5 weeks. I think it was close to 5 weeks that we've been discussing about prices must fall and how we can go about with it in the country. But today we are looking at something more broader because it's no longer looking at a specific situation, but it is looking at a general overview of how we can push on with our struggles as activists and organizers in the different communities. So, talking about protest vis-a-vis non-cooperation acts of direct action. Well, my little experience, I should say little experience with nonviolent civil resistance, I would say this is the same. But when we go to the analysis, you will see the differences that comes with each action. But I can say it's not to a greater extent because they are all direct action. That is something that we should agree. Just that you may find that the other may sound more aggressive, and this other one may sound like something a bit not so aggressive. So, in my own analysis, I'm happy that the co-host even tried to shed some more light on our topic for today. But I'll also start from there that a protest a protest is to me is a demonstrated action. A demonstrated action showing displeasure over a situation or over an idea with the goal of seeing change. Whereas non-cooperation is refusal, refusal to comply, refusal to accept a directive issued by an authority. but with the goal of seeing change. So the reason I said they are a bit related, but somehow different. So when we look at non-cooperation vis-a-vis protest, we have to focus on those keywords. Protest is a demonstrated action, while non-cooperation is an action, but a protest is a demonstrated action. And then when we look at also protest, we can see that there is a protest looks at not only the authority. A protest looks at a general perspective of a situation, but then non-cooperation usually focuses on a specific situation that is facing the people. They are grieved. And when you again look at non-cooperation, you will see that authority is known, and a protest is always open. Usually, with our usual demonstrations, our usual protests, we throw it to government. We are even not specific most of the times to who, because we feel that duty bearers are so broad. At some point, you might find that you're confronting the president, and the president comes and says, I am not the one who does this, it's Ministry of Finance. And then you're here complaining to Ministry of Finance, they say that, but Parliament passed this. So Ministry of Finance is just there to implement. So when we look at this, we can fish out the tiny differences that comes with it, even if both of them have a goal of seeing change. Their objectives is to see change in a situation. Something that I can add in case other speakers have not yet come in, maybe we can also look at protest and non-cooperation, the actions that comes with non-cooperation or protest. In Uganda, we have we really love to protest, but we have not yet employed the different forms of direct action, which non-cooperation is also one of it. Though I am happy that sometimes back, was it in 2020, when government came up with the OTT tax, that is one very successful non-cooperation act that I saw Ugandans participate in. I participated, and I believe majority of us here participated in that non-cooperation act by downloading VPN and refusing to pay our taxes to government of Uganda, because we felt it was absolute robbery of the citizens. We really didn't deserve to pay the OTT taxes. However, non-cooperation has not been widely appreciated, because when we look at non-cooperation in respect to the different institutions that we have in the country, you will find that we really have these non-corporations could have worked for us for majority organizations or majority institutions, like the medical institution, the education, and the CSO. I will give one very painful thing that I always want this country to challenge is the remittance of taxes by employees. And this is something that I think most governments and most citizens in the different countries, they don't really care. But I'm talking specifically about Uganda, that every employee is supposed to remit to government of Uganda 33% of their salary. That is close, that's more than a quarter of your salary that government is taking for service to go and use for services you really don't benefit from. Because when we look at the different sectors in the economy, you will find that they are too weak to satisfy our needs in the first place. Personally, I come from a disadvantaged region with very poor roads, very poor schools, very poor hospitals. Everything about my region is poor. We almost stand on our own. But this, how many of the people in this region are remitting their taxes of 33% of their salaries to government each and every month? Sometimes when you compute that, you will see how much government is stealing from you. And this is something that I would really feel that if Ugandans one day woke up to it, and embraced it, we would see that non-cooperation would affect government even more than the direct protest that we always make, because that one cripples directly the economy. It usually cripples directly the economy because it is something that you know who you are addressing your issues to. You know who you are taking actions against. Um, while protest, we can look at it in this perspective that yes, most of the times we do protest. In anytime we come up, we hold placards, we do peaceful marches, we do like put hang those posters and all that, send petitions around for signing. Yeah, protest is also a good thing, but something that I have seen with it is to me, I feel it is less effective, because in most cases, like I said before, we really do not know the specific authority we are addressing our issues to. Sometimes, many times, we have called on an end to police brutality, and then we really sometimes we are addressing our issues to the Minister of Justice. Sometimes we're addressing the issues to Uganda Human Rights Commission. Sometimes we're addressing the issue to the IGP themselves. Sometimes we're addressing the issue to the president. Sometimes to Parliament. So we really do not have specific authority to address our issues to. So this is what, to me, makes non-cooperation and protest appear different, even when its definition and its implementations may seem the same. But I feel it is a little bit different. For now, let me first stop there and give opportunity to others to say something.
Oh, thank you so much, Comrade Tamali, for that that good explanation of the two. Yes, when you talked about the OTT tax, whereby people downloaded the VPN, some of us may have not even realized that it was an act of non-cooperation. But you see that that act clearly showed government that they literally have nothing so much to do about the, there are some acts you do for the protests. It's easy for them to crack them down, arrest. The main tool that dictatorships use to thrive is instilling fear in the people. So when people know, when they do something, when they take to the streets, they know they will be shot at or they will be arrested, like what happened in 18th November 2020. So people are scared to engage in such acts, but rather they decide to keep silent. But when there is such an option whereby someone can openly not cooperate with the government by not paying the OTT tax, this eventually forced the government to scrap that tax off after some time, realizing its returns are not they're not realizing any returns, much returns from it. So they eventually had to scrap it off. And the people scored in the end. So you see, it is an act that they cannot, no one will arrest you, because for you, you preferred to have an application in your phone called VPN, and no one will shoot at you because you have an application in your phone. So these are